Want to watch live? Thanks again to Waglet Burke First for helping out in the video department. Don't forget, Sunday morning is the Week in Cox. It is 2 hours of the best stuff from the week, and it's hosted quite ably by our own William Scott Squire and Cody Alan Helpful Poundcake Brown. And it happens 8 to 10 every Sunday morning. So if you happen to be up early, I think that we're going to begin podcasting it again, too. We fell off that because we had so many technical issues at Oak Tree that we stopped doing it. But I know a lot of people have requested that we start doing that again. And sometimes the podcast works. Mm-hmm. So, it's a lot of fun. But live, you'll hear it here on MMS every Sunday morning, 8 to 10 a.m. It is the Week in Cox. Cavaliers will play tonight. They had a big win against the Sixers the night before last. They're going to take on the Magic tonight. 7:30 is your tip-off, so Cavs Live pregame gets going 30 minutes prior. So we'll roll at 6:30, get a little bit of a rock and roll, and then right into your Cavs Magic. They will head to New York to play the Knicks on Sunday afternoon, and then they're back here at home on Tuesday to play LeBron and the Lakers. I think Kevin Love is hurt. I don't know that he's playing tonight.
He's hurt. I don't think he'll be out there. I don't think Jared Allen will be out there either. But against the Magic, they should be just fine.
Okay without those guys?
I think so.
Okay.
But you never know. On any given Friday, right?
That's what they say. That's absolutely correct. If you listen to us on iHeartRadio, we talk about it all the time. And part of the reason I do that is because I like to shout out the people who don't live in Ohio and live other places and take the time to listen to us while we're streaming on the app. Cynthia listens in Surprise, Arizona. Brennan is one of our bureau chiefs in Nashville, Tennessee. Norm's in Detroit. Jesse's in Castle Rock, Colorado. And one of our new listeners, Zach in Troutman, North Carolina. Hey, HJ.
Yes. Hello.
Did I catch you on the crapper? You okay?
No, I was actually doing my day job up on a ladder painting.
Oh, God.
But I'm a musician, and I'm good friends with. You're familiar with Dirk Verburen from Megadeth, I'd imagine, or his drumming and who he is.
Well, I'm familiar. I wasn't familiar with. Isn't his wife from here?
Yeah, she's from Chagrin. So I mean, her and I have been friends probably since we were 20. Because
good for you.
Yeah, it was so good. But
yeah.
But no. My folks moved out. I grew up in Euclid. My folks moved out to Chagrin, which was the greatest thing ever because all my best friends now are from Chagrin. They're all rock and rollers. It's all musicians, and I'm a musician. So whatever. So she met and married Dirk. And so I was out of town when Megadeth opened for Five Finger Death Punch.
Right.
And I've never heard their music, or at least I don't know which songs are theirs or whatever. And so I was curious about how it went. All my friends went. It was, a big to do, a bus of 20 people from Chagrin Falls going, to see the show backstage and the whole bit. And I don't want to throw anybody from Megadeth under the bus because I wasn't there and I don't know exactly what was said and by whom. But the overriding thing, so far as I can gather, is they can't stand that band. And they were like separate camps. And they were just we don't even know what kind of music this is, but we were hoping maybe to gain a younger audience.
Megadeth. I wasn't sure which way the distaste was moving. You mean Megadeth is not a big fan of Five Finger Death Punch?
Yes, exactly.
Well, they're older dudes. I mean, it's a different vibe. I mean, it's, but if you're a band, who cares if you get along with the other guys? It's you go out and make some money,
Right. And I don't even think it was necessarily about getting along or not getting along. I think they were all, amicable as far as the touring went. but it was just that they didn't watch, Megadeth. And granted, their music is very the earliest of metal music, so they're not going to maybe, I don't know what, Dave Mustaine, digs on or doesn't dig on for modern music. I can't imagine he's going to be into a ton, but, they're one of the big four, and they just, I guess they were just like, but they're like, oh, we can't stand hearing their set every night. We just get in the bus and go. So I just thought it was interesting, I've never listened to him. What did Mary think of the song?
I like that circus song. It's the only one I've ever heard, but I enjoyed it.
All right, I'll check it out. I'll see. But you do know that was that, because when you had mentioned it earlier in the show, you're like, I think it was Five Finger.
No, it was
Death
them.
Punch.
They said it because I tuned in the middle of the song and I was like listening to it as I was driving.
It's called
and I was
Welcome to the Circus.
Yeah.
Is the song, yeah.
I was like, oh, I really like this. This is really good. And then the guy was like, oh, that was Five Finger Death Punch, whatever.
Yeah, I guess there was a lot of like eye rolling and stuff in that camp, but whatever. I mean,
No, listen,
I just thought
I think it's two different vibes. I think Megadeth is that's a band that has prided itself on being a technical band, and Five Finger Death Punch is more like it's like a mook kind of band. But there's some for everybody, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's not everybody's cup of tea, but they do really well. They're one of the best-selling hard rock bands the last 10 years. So, they're we play them all the time on MMS because, they have a thing. But, okay, hey, listen, thank you, HJ. I appreciate the call. A lot of people, by the way, because I talked about Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday of next week, we're giving away those Metallica tickets to see them next November on the M72 tour in Detroit at Ford Field. They're doing stadiums. And they're doing 2 nights, Friday nights and Sunday nights. They're taking those Saturday nights off. So you're going to see probably there'll be Metallica sightings in Detroit or whatever city they're in. And they're doing 2 completely different sets, and each show has completely different opening bands. And so the Detroit shows will have the Pantera. I can't even call it a reunion. People are like, who the hell is in Pantera? It's Phil and Rex, with Zakk Wylde and Charlie Benanti filling in for Vinnie Paul from Anthrax. So they're doing a bunch of the Metallica dates, including the Detroit one. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday of next week, we're going to have those tickets for you. You'll just have to
You have to buy 2 days. You can't just buy 1 day.
My understanding is that if you were to buy tickets for any of these dates, you buy both shows.
Wow.
Now, what's going to happen is, if people's schedules change, they're going to go, well, there's going to be a lot of resale of this Metallica tour. But it would also be a great opportunity to just dick around in some city for the weekend and see Metallica on Friday and Sunday night on the 50-yard line of a stadium.
You get Mom Spaghetti while you're there from the M&M place.
Is that still open?
I think so.
I think we drove past it one time. We didn't. It was right after it opened, and the line was around the block. I'm like, well, I'm not stopping there. But I wasn't sure if that was like technically a pop-up or...
No, it's
right downtown, so I wasn't sure if it was still open or...
It's a real-ass restaurant.
It's a real-ass restaurant. There it is. Yeah, okay.
Wait a minute.
Open 4 to 11 today. What?
I'm looking on Metallica's website.
Yes.
2023.
Yes.
So they have dates already into 2024 booked.
Yeah, because I'm going to go see him in Chicago, and that's not till summer of 24.
This is crazy.
At Soldier Field. But again, they're only doing about a dozen U.S. dates. This is not a huge tour.
No, and that's, because Brian and I, has a week off in October of 2023. And I was like, oh, let me see if Metallica's anywhere in October. That's the 1 month they have off next year. August, September, and then completely off all of October, and then they come back to tour in November.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So that's why, in addition to the fact that Metallica hasn't dropped anything new in about 6 years, they haven't toured in a few, at least not around these parts. They're not doing a ton of dates. Alan, keep your eyes peeled. There's some dude running around downtown robbing businesses. He's hit a couple bars so far. Oh, yeah? All right.
Is there a description?
Some do.
No. That's just a person texting me. I don't even know if there's any veracity to it, but I think it's okay. We've got bulletproof glass. What's that?
Well,
I'm being told that we do not have bulletproof glass.
But there's nothing of value in here either, so should
You
be
are.
fine.
You could not be more correct about that.
Not
There
even
is
the lives.
nothing of value
Especially
in here.
I heard be like, was any of the equipment hurt? That's new. We need that. We can put a couple more dopes on the
We
air.
can
No
absolutely
problem.
interchange the, like Heffron said yesterday, you can interchange the people behind the microphones. We'll just get the JockBot 5000 to get in there and take over for Alan's show. It'll be fine. I got some food news here for people who might be feeling a little peckish. Well, I mentioned the Liver King earlier. The Liver King empire is, can't believe it lasted this long before people got their heads right over this guy. But if you were on social media and were following this guy who called himself the Liver King, and he was a guy with a big bushy beard and long hair, and he was very, very jacked. I think he's probably in his late 40s, early 50s maybe. If he's younger than that, he's a hard-looking 35 maybe. But he swore up and down that he was living a prehistoric life, right? That all this guy, he was eating giant things of liver, and he has 2 sons that are running around in loincloths, and he's got a wife that's doing the same thing, and his whole brand has been on this. I mean, these things are all one kind of grift or another, of course. But he ended up with, millions of followers because everybody's looking for something new. And the Liver King was giving it to him. And he'd show up at, like, MMA fights and, he got some level of celebrity off this. And he would do various podcasts and interviews, and people were like, come on, bro, you're, like, juicing or something. Even Rogan was like, you're bananas if you don't think this guy's taking something. The guy was always very adamant about the fact that, nope, this is all natural. Except that anybody knows anything about anything knows this guy was taking something. And so somebody, I guess, blew him up. And printed or disseminated emails between him and some company about his regular steroid regimen. So the whole thing's blowing up now. And he's had to come for. He was spending $12,000 a month on HGH. And again, you look at the guy,
But
you're
it doesn't
like,
mean
nobody,
he was taking it.
Nobody, yeah.
What a
He was
dork.
promoting this brand of like, we should live like our ancestors and eat raw. This guy would literally, he was like, remember when Dan Aykroyd was on the train in Trading Places? He's on the bus, and he pulls the salmon out of his coat, and he just eats it. He stole it from the Christmas party because he's hungry. That's what the Liver King is like. And boy, he is going backwards on a unicycle trying to convince people and save face that, well, it doesn't change my message, and yeah, okay, but I was just trying to inspire people, and blah, blah, blah.
But you're not inspiring people if you're lying to them.
Inspire them to lie?
He says he did it to save people dying from depression and suicide. That's why I did it. Come on.
Yes, I've done steroids, and yes, I am on steroids, monitored and managed by a trained hormone clinician. Liver King, the public figure, was an experiment to spread the message.
There you go. Liver King, the public figure. That Liver King. Not this Liver King. That Liver King. They're going to call him a Liver King again when he dies from cirrhosis. From all of the battering that his organs are taking from all the HGH. So at least he'll get to keep the name.
Bring awareness to the 4,000 people a day who kill themselves, the 80,000 people a day that try.
Gotta be more than that. Gotta be more than
4,000 a
4,000
day?
people a day in the
You
United
might
States
mean
kill
in
themselves.
America.
That's what I mean.
That's
Gotta
a
be.
lot, dude.
That's a lot.
Oh, I know it's a lot. I'm saying I bet it's more.
Oh, that
Nah, I
sounds
don't
right
think
to
so.
me. It
Yeah,
sounds high.
that's
to
a
kill
lot.
themselves. Our people are hurting at record rates with depression, autoimmune, anxiety, infertility, low ambition in life. Our young men are hurting the most, feeling lost, weak, and submissive. So I made it my job to model, teach, and preach a simple, elegant solution.
Anyway, it's a bunch of hooey because this guy got
Model,
found out.
teach, and preach a simple, elegant solution that I'm not following. But
That
you
guy-
should follow. It'll help you. I needed more, but you do it, and it should work for you. What a piece of crap.
The Liver King is doing it, not me, the Liver King. The Liver King public persona, not me, Liver King.
Imagine how many more people were depressed when they're trying to follow what he's teaching, and they're not getting the results that they expect because
It's a lie.
it's a lie. So that guy is just a garbage human. He
you
wasn't
were-
doing it for anybody
but
other
you
than just
were-
to get rich.
You are also, this to me is the equivalent of whenever somebody like Tucker Carlson or Glenn Beck or Alex Jones, every time these grifters get hauled into a court of law, their defense is always, nobody could take me seriously. I'm an entertainer. I'm not rally.
It's an opinion
Come
show.
on. I mean, it is, but they also know what they're doing. And this guy is basically like, guys, anybody who knows anything
try to
knows that I
inspire.
was, look at me. Come on. You had to know.
But just look at that body.
And anybody who does know anything knows this guy was taking something.
Well, Poundcake's inspired right now.
Yeah.
That's just
You gonna start chomping on some liver? It's some organ meat, son.
that is just a
Well, he's
work.
gonna get some organ meat.
I would just like to paint him or something. It's just a work of art. I don't care if he takes
Ew,
steroids.
Cody, you like that?
I don't care that he
No,
takes
no,
steroids. I care that he lied about it and said that he was building this body naturally.
but
That's
that-
what I have a problem with.
I understand
I
that,
don't care
yeah.
if you take steroids.
Yes, that's screwed up, but I don't aspire to be like that. But that's a bodybuilder's body, and even if I do want to get ripped, I want to be lean. I don't want a bodybuilder's body. That is far too much discipline.
But that is a
doesn't-
guy that you're not his audience. His audience is different
Dudes who want to
dudes
get
that wanna
inflated
get
like that.
That's what I'm saying. That looks like a guy
But
that-
then he's lying to them, saying that he's getting this body naturally and he's overcoming his depression
Yes,
and
he's
all this
preying
stuff
on the
like
weak.
that. Yeah,
He's
and
preying
it's-
on the weak, and I don't
and
like
it's
that.
real scumbag stuff.
But yeah, he looks like he doesn't have any fun. Like that body screams.
Yeah,
this
but
is all I do for
But the
fun.
entire bodybuilding or body industry is targeted to people who don't like the way they look. This guy was adding you should be living a caveman lifestyle.
Right.
What do I always say about organ meats, Bill? They taste awful.
He is always
It's
saying
a
that.
visual joke,
Yeah.
but I am going to make it until the day I die on this show because organ meats, Mary, they taste awful. Listen, I don't know what to tell you, but
like I said, I guess when I'm
it's a visual joke. You'd have to see the word awful. Nevertheless, awful. Oh, God, these organ meats just. Hey, Kyle.
Hey, you mentioned how much of a tragedy it is when attractive people die earlier. And recently in Idaho, there's these 4 college kids that got murdered, stabbed to death in some house. And the cops have no leads, no murder weapon, and they are incredibly attractive. I don't know if you guys talked about it.
I saw the story. It's the most amazing thing to me is they don't have any leads because they were like, this place was covered in blood.
Right? And they're like, the ex is like, oh, I didn't have anything to do with it. And one of the victim's parents are like, oh, there's no way he would do it. We love that guy. So it's
Three
really
girls and one of the girls' boyfriends were stabbed to death while they were sleeping by somebody, and they can't figure out who. Yeah, it is really,
Yeah,
again, to your point, Kyle, none of these girls scratch me where I itch, but they're lovely young women, and it's a tragedy. But, yeah, I take your point.
We demand justice. That's all I'm going to say. Thank you, guys.
Kyle, thank you for, we do have a lot of bureau chiefs out that way. What?
I could not figure out where that music was coming from. Did you see me looking around?
Mary's looking out the window to see if somebody has
The music that you use every time something sad's
like
happening.
an ice cream truck or something. I could not identify that music. And then
an ice cream truck.
you started to play it a little louder. I was like, oh.
Mary's like, did somebody just push a baby grand piano up to our window?
I made sure my computer was muted. I was like,
What is that? Mary, please. I'm trying to
Sorry.
cast a serious situation here for these young women who. Yeah, that's a wild story. Imagine being
Where was
stabbed.
it?
It was in Idaho.
Idaho.
Yeah, these
Oh,
girls in this.
That in itself, having to be in Idaho.
Well, they all went to U of I or something, right? Yeah, they all went to University of Idaho. And these poor parents, I mean, obviously wrecks multiple families. But imagine being stabbed while you sleep.
Ugh.
Because the first one wakes you up,
Yeah.
and then you don't know what's going on, and they just keep coming. So
They don't stop coming.
Right. So, yeah, but that's a wild story to me because they're like, we don't know who did this. I think in the initial few days, they were like, there might be somebody on the loose. The local cops really screwed up, too, because they kept throwing theories out there that were not panning out. And so, one day they're like, he might be on the loose. And the next day they're like, it might be somebody they knew. And they're like, no, we don't think it's anybody they knew. So they probably don't get a lot of crime in Moscow, Idaho. So, it's not like they've got hardcore homicide detectives out there that are constantly honing their skills, I'd imagine. I'm going to break here. I will have Cavs tickets for you. 1 week from tomorrow, the Oklahoma City Thunder are going to be in town. And if you want to see the Cavs wipe the floor with them, I'll hook you up when we come back.